Hello and welcome to episode 38 of the Rusty Quill Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, GM and dog punisher, Alex Newall, and with me today I have...
James Dog Murderer Ross.
Bryn. Monroe. I don't have a joke. You didn't warn me.
I give you no prep time.
Lydia frantically trying to sketch out an alternative character. Nicholas.
Ben Two Tiles Meredith.
That's my favourite one, I like that one. And who are you playing?
So Bertrand, I'm very sad now, MacGuffingham.
I am Brutor.
Hashtag.
There, I had a joke after all. Hamid.
Ow!
Zolf Two Tiles Smith.
So, yeah. Before we jump into the episode, just a quick little bit of admin to remind people, if you haven't already, do give the Magnus Archives a listen. It should be up and playing right now, and one can only assume being fantastically successful, given that this is the future, so I have literally no idea. But if you haven't listened to it, give it a go. iTunes, all the other podcast providers, and rate, review, subscribe, as you should be for us if you haven't already.
And a friendly wave to our upcoming robot overlords. Glorious future.
Now, picking up where we left off last, we have a little bit of an awkward situation. Let's start a little
Hashtag
bit.
Brutor's life matters.
Let's go a little bit further back, where via Dover and Zolf's arrest, and via the journey across the Channel, which was tempestuous, both under the water actually, and sort of under the water when you think about it.
We were under the water as well.
You made it via Calais, made it to Paris, found a presidential suite at La Triomphe, held in Sasha's name in perpetuity, paid for by Brock, apparently.
Yep.
A list of names from the same source, apparently. Also, heading to L'Arc d'Ordinateur, you did a brief investigation, only to find that Sasha's memory had been changed. Then, to try and chase up what was going, of course, Hamid arranged a date, let's not forget that.
I haven't.
Then,
Half of mine on the fight, half of mine on what am I going to wear?
I can choose from literally anything.
trying to investigate what was happening with the investigative reporter, the party stumbled upon an old, very sweary man in a very run-down part of Paris, who has so far done a very good job at really
Sasha.
punishing the party.
Yeah.
Sasha's currently having had a massive drop in a lot of pain. We'll find out how she is. Brutor having
Just
had...
like listening to bass.
you waited for the drop, and then it happened because Bertie accidentally dropped a dog off a building. So...
You're all making light of a situation that I know I'm going to have people on the forums going crazy at me specifically for.
I will be one of them, frankly.
I'm genuinely upset. About my character.
I will spell out that while Sasha we know is okay, there is a very, very significant chance that Brutor's dead, and the only person in this room who knows is me.
No, not Brutor.
And God.
Well, you know, God's...
Poseidon knows.
Poseidon
Does
knows.
he care? He is
There's
a
presumably a god
merciless
of...
lord.
There's probably a god of dogs.
Zolf turns up, tries to heal Brutor. No!
Yeah.
It's a
None
dog!
Of that.
No!
It's not a horse or a dolphin, so I'm not interested.
So, picking up where we left off. Sasha, we're still in initiative order. You have just plummeted the whole depths. You've had pain in your back, a really sharp pain. It feels like you fell on some rubble or something. You're currently buried underneath some stuff. You can't see anything. There's a corrugated iron on top of you. You're coughing from the dust. It is your turn. What do you do? And you heard clearly the sound of a dog in immense pain, thumping with an incredible amount of force, feet away from you.
Didn't land on the corrugated iron.
Did not land on you,
Okay.
did not damage you more.
I am going to try and get to my feet, which may involve pushing the corrugated iron up.
Give me a strength check to get yourself out from all of that detritus.
That's a good roll.
Yeah, it is 17 plus... Oh, minus 1.
16?
6.
Yes, you succeed. So, pushing
Not
up,
happy about it, though.
pushing up, you manage to get the corrugated iron and you shift it. It's clear that there's actually quite a lot of weight behind it. What you're doing is you're sliding it off you rather than, physically pushing it up. And you manage to sort of wiggle your way out.
Can I see the dog?
You wiggle your way out and find yourself face to face with Brutor. His eyes are closed. You can give me a heal check if you want for the rest of your turn to see whether he's alive or not. You cannot tell at a glance, you have no training, and there's a lot of dust in the air. He is bleeding openly. There is blood slowly coming out from underneath.
Dog! Dog! I mean, Sasha's less adoring of these
Of
of
course.
animals than the rest of the party and us as players.
Hamid really dislikes Brutor.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
So, I mean, Sasha has left him assuming he was dead on the floor before. Just like when there was the
Yeah.
swarm.
There shouldn't be a precedent for abandoning the dog for dead.
I threw him onto the floor, much to Bertie's chagrin.
Yeah. I think.
Chagrin?
Chagrin, we're in France.
Yes, that's true.
Shaggers.
I get the feeling that she would be moving sort of slowly, and that it wouldn't necessarily. I mean, the fact that I suppose she would check.
Maybe you've got the action film video game thing where the camera's all fuzzy and you can hear and
Yeah.
everything's echoey. It's Omaha Beach, but in an alley in Paris.
I'm going to perform a heal check, which in Sasha's case involves poking the dog. It's plus that 2, then 20.
20.
Dog! Dog!
What did you roll? A 20?
I rolled an 18 and then I have my wisdom,
So
which
a
I think
20.
modifies it, plus 2.
20 is the DC for treating deadly wounds, just in case.
I will chuck you a bone and say not only do you know whether Brutor is alive or not, you would be able to fulfill some other actions to do with healing if he is.
Right.
Brutor is just alive.
Also, just so you know, Alex moved his mouth to form a D sound. Like, you couldn't hear
He's
that,
a monster.
When I say just,
Yeah.
mechanically speaking,
Yeah. Is he KO'd?
your heal check is letting you know he is hemorrhaging.
Sasha's ability to heal is basically her going, hold the blood in.
Yeah.
Hold with the hand.
You won't need to give me another roll. Your first heal
That's
check will say covers it. You kind of have to check someone's alive in order to.
Hold his blood in.
Yeah.
Pretty much, pretty physically. Like, that's about the extent of it. Like, his ribs are beginning to move slowly apart as if they hold the body together. Hold
Okay,
the
Dog is
body
slowly turning from
together.
a solid into a liquid, so he's trying to just hold it together like a mercury dog.
We'll say.
But blood.
Yeah.
Okay, mechanically,
I thought we're losing listeners.
mechanically,
The
you
dog is alright, is what matters.
mechanically you have managed to stabilize Brutor at the lowest level. This is just fun, interesting truth. The lowest level he could be.
Minus
Minus
9.
9.
If you had not healed him this round, he would have been dead by the time the round finished. He has never been that close.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll say that you managed to pick up a
Hot
tiny.
diddly doodles.
So we'll say that in other London, Sasha picked up a few tricks. Nothing
Hold
huge.
dogs together.
Basically, apply pressure, maybe tie a tourniquet if there's like a missing limb or something. In this case, it is just
Would
a
you
case
tie?
of...
Would you tie a tourniquet to if there's a missing limb?
Oh, well, no,
You
he's
tie
got...
the limbs
Well, the upper
together.
lip.
Tie it to the phantom limb. That's
Hey, if you want, I can say that he has a severe head wound and she was forced to amputate, but I'm going to go ahead and say that's not the case. What I would say, though, is covered in wounds, like proper severe damage.
more wound than dog.
And Sasha, that will be the end of your turn, just stopping Brutor being dead.
Then she does that. Even though she lost 3/4 of her hit points and she's not very well.
The elderly man,
Selfless.
I will have to do a check now, bear with me.
He's on a slopey roof.
So, the elderly man
He's
already
elderly
has...
as well as portly.
Oh yeah, he's
Golly.
elderly and portly. Turns his back on you, does a running jump, and just, like, slams into the side of the building, but manages to scrabble his way up. And is on the far side of the building, but barely, as in as close to dropping as he could. And he isn't looking back, he's already just gone straight across, nearly lost his footing on that sloped roof, leaped to the 5 feet alleyway, and then has landed on the next building. Hamid, you've just seen Brutor fall, and an old man is running away, having been slammed in the face by a magic missile.
But you've also seen me get up.
Brutor!
He
No! How
There's too much
could
dust.
you? I echo my previous action and cast Magic Missile.
Go for it.
Ooh,
This
that's
time I do 8
hard.
damage.
Ooh. The old man takes it to the shoulder, hard, very hard. He stumbles, he pulls himself up against an air vent, which is sort of part of, on top of the buildings. He looks in a bad way. You've hit him pretty hard. Okay, Zolf, you have heard from the alleyway the sound of an enormous amount of destruction.
I mean, I'll scoot in a
Continue.
more concerned way.
As long as we're on the same
Oh,
page.
this sounds bad.
Bertie, You cannot see Sasha or Brutor at the base of that alleyway. There is just dust. You heard some movement at the bottom, but that could have just been stuff settling. You don't know.
Yep. So Bertie could run all the way around the long bit, or he could attempt to do a running jump over.
So I should spell this out for listeners a bit more. I haven't gone into too much detail about the rooftops until now, but at this kind of decision point we should make it. So you are currently on top of the building of La Gazette Grand. There is a roof access doorway, which if Sasha had continued going up would have probably reached eventually. There is what was a corrugated iron rooftop walkway between the two, which is obviously demolished now. The next building is smaller. It has sloped roofs on either side, and what looks like a washing line or something similar connecting it to another extremely sloped rooftop to its right-hand side.
Right.
The Gazette is currently bordering another building with no gap on the right-hand side from where the fire escape was. So Bertie could loop round onto that other building, all the way round, go across the actual building in a sort of dog leg, back along a curved rooftop, and then back along a washing line to get to the first rooftop, or do a 15-foot jump onto another building which looks in poor repair. There is the elderly man is one building again beyond the slightly sloping roof which the corrugated iron connected to, and he is beside but not amongst some chimneys, some vents, things like that.
Okay, so what Bertie will probably do in character, although it's probably the wrong move mechanically,
Do what you want.
is in rage take a running jump across the 10-foot while wearing full armour.
So you
I
go back
would.
and then go, aha.
So
Yeah.
yes, we will say you use your move action to move back up a bit and then take the running leap. Give me an acrobatics check.
With a -8 penalty.
Roll well.
Enhanced by rage.
Yeah.
Pomp and pageantry.
You can actually pomp and pageantry this for +1.
Flaring out, yeah.
You cannot pomp and pageantry this.
In combat,
I will
yeah,
not allow
fair
it.
enough, that's fine. Okay. Oh, 11 -8 is 3.
Oh,
Give me a reflex save.
Roll
Roll well.
Yeah. That is 4. My reflex is
God.
2.
So 6.
Was
Yeah.
that what was the DC on the your roll on the actual jump?
There was a -8 modifier.
So
Yeah,
3
that's awful.
in the end.
That's bad.
Yeah.
The result of your acrobatics check is the distance jumped, so you jumped 3 feet.
So
That was like you jumped and then gravity realised went no.
we will say Bertie backs up, fury in his eyes, charges forward, jumps. The tip, just the tip of his toe, clips the ledge as he goes. He does a full somersault immediately, rapidly spinning. He tries to reach out, then slams into the far wall. Even though he wasn't full, like the 3 foot, will take a bit of flavour. He slams into the far wall.
That was the intentional jump.
If he had made his reflex save, he would have gone through a window instead into a different floor. He failed. Bang! He hits the wall, taking, just for that, 1 damage. You got lucky. He then
Maybe
falls.
hit his head, not a sensitive area.
He then
A
falls.
falcon breaks off.
Are you ready for some damage, James?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Oh my god! Like, as someone that took, what was it? I think I
18,
took
I think.
I took 17 because it was 6, 5, 6,
Yeah.
and then I took another 5 like that.
I've taken a total of 9 damage. Yes.
It's getting worse. Sasha,
Yeah.
roll me a reflex
Oh
save.
no!
Brutor's there.
No. Sasha and Brutor were clearly underneath where the corrugated iron, and the way James moved his piece
James threw
was
a ball.
was a good 5 foot
Nice
away
try.
from them.
Brutor was thrown here. Sasha crawled her way out.
Oh god, yeah, that's true.
Give me the reflex save,
Not
Sasha.
underneath. Oh.
You are if you moved to where Brutor's lying.
+6 is 10.
10. So,
No,
you're going to be
Bertie.
taking some damage from Bertie. How many hit points have you got left?
7.
Effectively 17 until you're dead.
No.
So just
Oh,
don't roll
no,
3
effectively
sixes.
16, sorry. Because it said you do die.
I'm checking without Sasha name.
This is awful.
I think Sasha's quite aware of this.
Oh, I felt that bone break.
Sasha looks up. Give me a Bertie fall.
It's a fun waveform there on all of the mics.
You get a brief moment
No.
of
Denial that this is happening.
a rapidly somersaulting Bertie slams into you, dealing 15
Oh,
damage.
you're out for the count.
I am out. Okay, I am on -8.
There is
get there. I'm not fast enough.
-8.
there is an
I'm not
enormous
fast
bang.
enough to stabilise in time.
-8. -8. I'm gonna die.
There's a very real possibility.
You
don't die.
get a con roll to stabilise yourself.
Yeah.
Oh! I'm looking at rules.
Do they say Sasha doesn't die?
The first D6 is non-lethal damage. At this point, it will have wrapped round, but that first D6 was a 6, so you've actually taken 3 less damage than you thought you did.
Oh yeah, rules.
Yeah,
Lawrence.
rules.
So,
Goddamn.
as far as I'm aware, you can just make it, Zolf, I believe.
I think I can. Actually, also, I'm acting this round, and if my difficult terrain ends there, I can half move speed, move, and then full move my
And
second.
channel energy is an area, so you wouldn't need to make the whole distance.
Yeah.
Well, that hurt
Yeah.
a lot.
Do I take any more damage for having hits, Sasha?
I mean, I do have.
No, the
I
damage
think.
which makes
No,
it
wait.
on
I've
the
got
floor,
like
okay.
12 daggers.
Already
about my
them
person.
pointing up.
You're wearing full armour. You're
Right,
fine. What I am going to do is find out whether you hit Brutor as well.
That will just kill.
That
Brutor.
just doesn't
He will.
happen.
He will
Alex.
splatter.
No.
I'm not kidding. I have rolled it. I know whether you have or not. Don't hate me.
Oh.
Firstly, we do hate you. Listeners hate you, and listeners can't even see your face. They can't even see your grinning face.
So,
Brutor's gonna splash.
Sasha,
Yeah.
you're unconscious, correct?
Yeah, very.
We'll skip ahead a little bit. The old man turns his head around, frowns briefly, and then continues out of sight behind smoke and steam coming out from vents.
I mean, out of sight. Like, Hamid's the only one that's still up there.
Hamid can see him. Whether Hamid's paying attention is another matter. You've basically...
all
It's the
gone a bit
storm
wrong.
all over again! Everyone around you's just disappearing instantly.
Everyone keeps making
If you
stupid...
can keep your head well.
Well, everyone else's plummets 4 stories in front of you. Hamid, you're up.
Zolf! We need help!
I'll definitely hear that. Won't be able to make the move any faster, unfortunately. But
I cast magic missile.
You have no line of sight on him now because of the smoke and the fact that he's behind a chimney for a start.
scoot,
This
fire.
this man is going to pay. I back up. I take a running jump.
No!
No, of course I don't. Come on, people! I just seen 2 characters nearly die, and I have way fewer hit points than
Brutor's
them.
a character too. There are 3 that are currently critical.
Oh boy.
What do you do, Hamid?
Flail and cry?
There are 4 major flaws that have brought us to this situation. They are the first flaw, the second flaw, the third flaw, and Bertie's hubris. Those are the 4 flaws that have brought us here.
You're desperately looking for any spell.
I know my
listeners,
spells are pointless.
Bryn's just sat there with a tablet with the rules on it, rules all around him, papers everywhere, going, there must be something, there's something.
But the whole point is that in 4 seconds, basically what you're saying is that you can't decide what to do because you're trying to think of all the different things you could do, and the round is like 4 seconds.
It's like that
Yeah.
moment in a law show where some prosecutors had a massive breakthrough witness, and you've seen the defence fumbling around with all of their stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna run to the stairwell
Sure.
and start heading downwards.
The door is locked. Just to make you hate me even more.
I'm just gonna stay where I am and
But you
watch in
run-
horror.
No,
You
sure.
don't know the door is locked.
Well, okay, I run over the door and find out it's locked. Like,
Can you cast Acid Splash on the lock or something like that?
well, yeah, but not this round.
It's padlocked on the outside, for what it's worth.
Yeah, I'll do that next round.
Obvious fire save.
You've only used a move action to get there, I think.
Oh, then yeah, I'll cast Acid Splash on it.
Tink! It comes off. It's a very poor lock. An extremely poor lock.
Cool. That's my action.
Right.
Zolf!
Okay, cool.
You're up.
So, I'm almost out of the alleyway. So I get to the last tile of the alleyway, which is half of my movement with my first move, moving 1, and now
Trailing rubbish and all kinds of
now I can
stuff.
do my full move to 2. Can I see these people? Because there's a thing. Ooh, just knocking Sasha off.
Roll perception.
Roll a perception check.
If you have to ask, that's the answer.
15.
15. It is carnage. There is splinters of wood, corrugated,
Conscious. Oh yeah, you're
Yeah.
fine.
corrugated iron. There is masonry.
Some daggers.
There is blood like sprayed up against one of the walls and stuff. It is awful. You see Bertie sort of groaning and rolling around, face down, with what looks like Sasha's legs poking out from underneath him, and possibly Brutor's broken form behind them. It's hard to make out. There's dust, but it's beginning to clear. It is. I cannot stress this enough.
I mean,
it looks like there's a good chance they're all dead or dying.
Silver lining, you didn't use the word corpse to use my name, so that's good.
Yeah, but he was careful not to.
Yeah, I know. Oh, for goodness sake.
And we'll take a break there and be back in a couple of minutes. And welcome back. So, Zolf, you've just witnessed some of the carnage.
Yep.
Bertie, you're currently on top of most of the party.
Bertie is not happy. He's not doing well.
There's a lot of blood on you.
Yeah.
Both yours on the inside and an enormous amount of Sashas now, interestingly, all over the outside.
Who knew a
and
little
dog
woman
blood.
could hold so
Much
much
blood.
blood?
Bertie pushes himself up, gets up. Young lady! Young lady!
You would not ask after Sasha.
Well, I just landed on top of
He's
you.
literally like you're his torso. There's a Sasha-shaped smear on the ground, and he stood up, and you're. You know what? If you ever detail,
Brutal.
there's that
Yeah.
awkward moment where he stands up, and you sort of peel off his.
Yeah. You just preempted the next thing I say, which is looking at what it remains of Brutor. Brutor! Much sadder. Much sadder. A bit sad, don't get me wrong, but much sadder about Brutor. Sorry.
To clarify, Brutor looks worse than Sasha.
Oh,
looks
yeah.
worse, like clearly broken limbs, and it's a train wreck. Mechanically, Brutor is literally as bad as a dog can possibly look,
Yeah.
and Sasha is almost as bad as she could possibly look.
5 rounds away from being the worst she could possibly look.
Yeah, a little bit.
Mrs. Smith! Mrs. Smith! Where are you?
Behind you.
Ah! Fix this! Fix this! Do it! Do it quickly!
Are we out of
Hurry up!
initiative? Or?
You are still in initiative
Okay,
order.
so I'm not able to because of the mechanics of the game. I think Hamid has to do something first.
That's very Deadpool of you.
Yeah. He's super dead.
Tell you
Yeah.
what,
It can't not be.
I'm going to throw you a bone.
Is it one that's thrown out of either Brutor?
There's a popping noise.
It's my inner ear.
Yeah.
Bertie,
Oh.
as far as you can tell, you hit Sasha, and again, I promise you, I'm not fluffing this. I did roll for it. You missed Brutor. You only hit Sasha. There was a 50-50
Wait, why am I
chance.
cheering?
There was a 50-50 chance that you would have crushed Brutor under your own body, and you got lucky.
That
sir.
is a very different alternative character arc that sees.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got very lucky,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
We see like a shadowy future kind of in the...
I love you heading off into the sunset, a
Shimmers.
broken man coming back 15 seasons later.
What, a level 20 anti-paladin?
Yes. Okay. So.
So far, you've stood up and
That's
yelled
enough.
some things.
Yeah. It's more or less where I am with this. Okay. Obviously, in terms of the mechanics, I should clearly be trying to stabilise you. I am going to be stabilising the dog. I'm going to attempt to stabilise the dog.
That's fine. Given that you have no knowledge, you're going to have to roll to even see if anyone's like dying, dead, etc.
Yeah.
So I for the sake of speed,
I mean,
by the
there's
way,
blood everywhere, but you can't be sure
You
these
can't
days.
make assumptions, you know. 13 minus 1 is 12.
You
you
successfully
successfully stabilised the dog that didn't need stabilising.
No. Yep.
Good.
Sasha, roll me a fort save.
It's a constitution
Sorry.
check.
It is actually a constitution check, Bryn's right, as opposed to a fort save.
Right.
So you are just rolling the d20 and adding your modifier to constitution,
Yeah.
not the
And then
actual
hoping
save.
to get over what?
And hoping to get over.
You subtract the number of negative hit points you have from the roll, and if you get a 10 or higher after that, you stabilise.
20.
That's a
Natural 20.
It's an automatic success on
You
this roll.
stabilise.
You stop. You do not lose any further hit points.
Yeah, I do.
Sasha's body's like, nope, this is not how this
Yeah, I
goes
am not
down.
dying from a fall. No.
Particularly not somebody else's.
So, to spell out, by the
Laughing
way,
in the face of death.
how very human of us. Sasha has also been hemorrhaging. This is genuinely the worst this has ever looked for a group.
Yeah.
I got blown up to lower hit points than this.
But there weren't other people also. I mean, Brutor's not people. I keep forgetting Brutor's not
Brutor
people.
is people.
How dare you?
I got blown through a wall on fire. So, I mean, this might be the worst it's ever looked, but really only slightly.
Okay, so I'm going to drop us out of initiative order at this point. I'm afraid you have failed and the old man has gotten away. Because you failed pretty hard, if I'm honest. So you're out of initiative order, there is blood everywhere. Sasha is unconscious, Bertie is conscious, Brutor is unconscious, Zolf, you're finally on the scene.
Classic cleric, I'm just going to walk up and resolve the situation. I move up.
Kiss it, make it better.
Basically, I grab hold of my symbol, whisper some catechisms to Poseidon, and channel positive energy. And heal everyone in a 30-foot radius, or hurt any undead that are lurking about. Down in the sewers, because it's a 30-foot sphere. And
Bodies just fall out of all of the surrounding buildings, hundreds of them.
ooh, we're in the zombie district. Heal everyone for 12 damage.
Nice.
Good work.
Good work.
So everyone, including Brutor and myself. Oh, I didn't do anything.
Sasha, are you conscious yet?
Yep, I got 7 hit points.
Nice.
I'm now back to 34. I could have been on 37. You overhealed me eventually.
Even after that fall, you still had more hit points remaining than I normally have.
Yeah.
Good old warrior.
Yeah.
So Bertrand MacGuffingham, he deserves to die, but he won't.
I want that on a t-shirt.
I'm going to walk over to Sasha, who I'm assuming is stirring.
Before we do, Sasha, you have to pick yourself a scar.
Oh, yeah.
Make it a good one.
Oh,
Given the scale,
yeah.
big is the order of the day.
Is
I have
it a
suggestion.
falcon
Yeah,
imprint in your
falcon
chest?
imprint straight to your chest.
Oh my god!
Yes, that sounds epic. There is a falcon imprinted deeply into my back on my
We'll say
right
because of
across
the
my
level of
back.
the detailing, you know, like scarification
Yeah.
is a thing. So it's not a tattoo, but you are going to have scarring in effectively a perfect imprint of a
Outspread
Maltese
wings.
falcon, outspread wings up over to the shoulders.
It's like massive, and of course that overlaps with all the burning she's got down
Yeah.
one side of her body from being blown through a wall on fire. Go, Sasha, go.
Brutor, meanwhile, has lots of smaller scars across his body, like chunks of fur missing. He's looking a bit worse for the wear. And a scar, top of the forehead, down between the eyes, and across one cheek. A big,
Oh, like Omar from The Wire.
Yes.
That's really cool.
big one. Big one.
Yeah.
It's closed because the way that the healing mechanic works is it effectively accelerates normal healing, but it doesn't get rid of scarring unless you're a higher level and so on. You're not a sufficiently high level. He has a very, very visible and painful looking scar right across his face, on top of all of the chunks of fur missing and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, but he looks cool.
He looks, he's looking steadily cooler.
He's the Bruce Willis of dogs.
Brutor stands, bit unsteady on the feet, turns, looks at Bertie, growls, and then charges off, disappearing down the alleys.
Is he still wearing his little hat but flat?
The hat, as he charges off, the hat, caught on a small piece of rubble, gets brushed off, drifts, flutters down, and lands in a puddle of blood at Bertie's feet.
Credits roll.
Wise dog.
I will.
Bertie just looks at, and the little chip that had press within it has fallen out as well.
It's floating down the river of blood.
Blood.
So in,
Sasha
it goes-
is unimpressed because it is her blood.
It
Yeah.
goes down the trickle, and the press card just drops through a grating into the sewers.
and there's a zombie going, "Oh, that hurt! Ow! What
Why is all
happened?
this positive
What
energy
happened?"
and cards? It's awful.
So as we're looking at Bertie's face as he's staring at the thing, in the background you can see Zolf stomp over to Sasha and help her up.
Sure.
And as I grab your hand, convert my second level spell into cure moderate wounds.
Okay, so how much do you heal them for?
It's 2d8 plus 2.
2d8 plus 2.
Gonna do a roll. That is 15.
Now, Sasha, your leather jacket. As you're
The one that
standing,
you were so proud of.
as you're standing, and Zolf sort of helping you up, Zolf, you can see there's clear tearing. Like the back of the leather jacket is completely in tatters. There's blood coming out from it. As you watch, incredibly quickly, the leather reknits and heals and is completely fine again.
Good old magic items.
Gotta love it.
But underneath, did you see there was a massive scar across
Perception
my back?
check.
It's. I'm not even gonna get you to roll
Oh.
it. It's so clear she have massive scarring.
But does it look like a falcon?
You don't know that yet.
Perception check.
Go on then.
Yeah. I don't know that.
Are you happy? Are you glad you made it?
At least I tried.
Not very good at looking at people whose clothes are torn in violence. Like you don't look directly at it because you're a polite dwarf.
Yeah.
Hamid, you burst out of a door immediately behind Zolf.
Everyone's
Is everyone
fine.
okay?
Bertie's just stood in silence, looking at the corner behind which Brutor disappeared.
I'm actually going to show a modicum of tact, walk over to Hamid and just say, Brutor ran off. I think he's angry at Bertie.
Okay.
What happened? He threw him. Well, don't blame Brutor then. Right, so that went. Is everyone alright?
Well, to be fair, at least this time I didn't go through a wall and I wasn't even on fire. So I guess really it's an alright day in the scheme of things, isn't it?
Yeah. So,
The guy got away, I think.
yeah, as
You
I was.
what? You let him get away?
Actually,
Why didn't you go after him?
Well, because 3 people had already fallen down this gap. I didn't want to land on any of you.
You could have run around.
let's put a lid on that encounter.
While all this is happening, Bertie has just quietly walked off around the corner.
I think trying to stop him might be a really bad idea.
What? Is he upset because he landed on me?
No.
That doesn't sound like him.
No, he's
Maybe
upset.
he is more. Maybe he is nicer.
He's upset.
Like,
No, he's
that's really. That is. I mean, I didn't think he had
Sasha,
any feelings
Sasha.
in him. But I mean, maybe he's
Sasha.
sorry and he can't tell me.
he only cares about the dog.
Oh,
The dog is angry at him, so he's sad.
the dog is angry at him.
Well, apparently he threw him off a roof.
He was trying to throw him across the gap and he didn't get far enough.
All right, I'm with the dog then.
Yeah, his voice. That's why. Anyway, so look, Bertie knows where we live, so I think we should probably just let him.
Where we're staying.
Where we stay, yeah. Well, no, where Sasha lives in perpetuity. Whatever. I'm getting distracted. Anyway, I had a time to think while I was crawling through that alleyway. We didn't actually.
Insert drowning in that sewer.
Yeah.
Running. Yep.
We didn't need to chase him. He didn't have anything on him, did he?
We don't know.
Well, I assume what was
He
happening.
might have
is
knowledge
he
in his
was-
head.
He seemed to be running away from Sasha.
Yes,
And us.
that might be because he's not supposed to be in the newspaper office and was nicking stuff. So we need to
No,
go
he
back.
weren't though. He was writing. When I went up, I
Well,
could hear him writing.
Let's see what he was writing.
And then I said, "Hello, how are you?" And he popped off. And then he tried to throw a bottle at me, so I thought, "Oh, he's probably got
I
information
saw
in
that
it."
bit.
So
He dropped that thing over the edge which broke the bridge. Like he's a bad
dropped
person.
it on me. He tried to drop it on me, I'm sure. And then like it missed, and so then I just fell. I wasn't squashed, and then I got squashed. This is not a good day in the scheme of things.
But also,
I agree. We should go and check through the
everyone-
offices now.
yeah,
Yes.
and everyone we've met has been pretty murderous, so that's part of the course, really.
Okay, we will say that Bertie's off on his own. We'll deal with that eventually. We will return to the rest of the group. Presumably you head into the office that he was in.
What room did he find him in?
Yep.
Okay.
I'd taken that.
In which case, could each of you, because I'm assuming you will all be taking part in this, give me a perception check and each of you tell me what you're focusing on looking for. You can still stumble on other stuff if it's rolling high enough, but I'd like to know what you're keeping an eye out for specifically. It'll help.
I will be looking through the files
They'll
for.
be in French.
I won't be looking through the files because I can't read it, so I don't know what's important. I'll be looking for safes, lockboxes, places that people keep valuable things.
Sure.
Mainly because they might have artifacts in if they're doing stuff.
Okay.
with the-
And
Oh, yeah,
Sasha?
I will be looking at whatever is on the top of the pile, what he was most recently writing.
I'm going to look through the files later. I figure I've got plenty of time to do that. The first thing I'd like to find out is if he was alone in these offices.
So you're going to search the wider...
I'm going to search wider. I'll come back and help you guys in a minute. I want to look around the building and see if there's a sign of other people being based here. Because he clearly is not Amelie Rose.
There is that.
I will point out as we're walking up, though, that I followed. This is the track that I followed going up.
Yeah, I'm just going to check some of the other rooms. I think you're probably right.
So, Zolf, give me the roll first.
That is 16.
16. You find in one of the desk drawers there is a small lockbox, locked. It takes a while. You find covered in just a pile of old, rancid, rotting newspapers.
Massive.
Huge, massive newspapers.
Unfold.
Of newspapers.
In fact, unfold and
You know what?
unfold and unfold.
We'll say it's
and
the
unfold.
original
Their
roll.
archive looks more like a laundry.
We'll say it's one of those original roll prints, so they haven't cut them yet.
yeah.
So it is actually enormous sheets of newspaper. A safe, a full-sized safe,
Okay.
which is also locked.
Cool.
Sasha, give me the roll.
16.
16. Glancing at the desk in French that you can follow. It's
Is it so
very
rude?
it's very vernacular. Dearest Lumiere, if you are receiving this, then I guess they've got me too. I don't know how. That's all you've got. Also, you find all over the desk bills, money owed, money due, etc. Lots of red ink all over the place.
Final demand.
Final demands.
Final demand. But
Yeah.
seriously, this is the last demand.
Guys, just money?
Please.
Yeah.
At which point you also find a bunch of notes, and you recognise some of the names, specifically Dr. Paulette Loup, Céline Souchet, Jacques Piaget, Vivienne Messier, and Francois Henri.
Is this the same
This
list?
is the list. It's the same list. You have next to Paulette Loup, archaeologist as well, and it has next to it. It's in sort of shorthand, but there's enough to sort of glean what's written there. It appears that she quit her job investigating the Parisian catacombs and volunteered for another dig. Doesn't say where. For Céline Souchet, you just have the word affair written with a circle and underlined. By Jacques Piaget, you have Souchet underlined and a line pointing to the affair notation. For Vivienne Messier, you just have the words Japan. And Francois Henri has been written extremely angrily, very deep, cutting through some of the sort of note paper, underlined, scratched and rubbed out. Hamid, give me the perception roll to search the rest of the building.
1725.
25, you search the rest of the building, things that you find of note. There is a printing press in the basement. It appears to have been shut down fairly recently. There's ink that's still blotting on the pads and so on. There is a lot of detritus.
So days or weeks?
Days. Days. There is obviously paper for storage and so on.
Massive paper.
It's becoming readily apparent that they were closing up shop. There were sort of sheets over things, and it's clear that it was closing down. You do find actually a doorway to a cellar, and even just poking your head down, you see that there's a manhole cover in the basement. But again, that's not an unusual thing really in a city of this size and this age. Also, you see that it's clear that this building had the walkway led through into the building behind, and that it was definitely sort of part of this complex, let's call it. It looks like they bought...
Door?
There's a hole in the wall.
Right.
It looks like they just beat it through roughly and put
Yeah.
it through. Again, it doesn't look necessarily illegal so much as just
Makeshift.
rudimentary, get the job done, keep going kind of work. And it's very clear that they retrofitted some old style Parisian apartments and tried to turn it into a business. Lots of holes knocked through walls to make trolley space and things like that. It's in bad disrepair, but you get the impression that it was in bad repair even when it was running.
Yeah.
It looks very much like a just get the job done, just get it done, just get it done, just get it done for too many years, and it's really started to show in the building.
Right.
But there's no one else there, not a soul.
And is it clear that only that office has been occupied for a few days, maybe a week.
All the other offices are cold with stuff upon
Yeah.
them. That office had a small heater, like a
Cool.
brazier.
Okay, I'll rejoin these guys.
So what do we find?
Well, this is the same list as Brock had or someone claiming to be Brock back in the hotel.
Right.
So it seems like, well, of course, although you can't read French, they're just names. So, like...
I can read the names, yeah.
And the fact that affair is just affair with an accent on the E. So I'm explaining very carefully, these are names, right? And so you can see this one, they seem to have had an affair with the other one.
So it's a story being run. They're investigating them.
Right, yeah, that actually sounds a lot more likely than what I was thinking.
I mean, so the names that aren't on this list are Amelie Rose, so it might be her list.
That's what I'm thinking. No, she works for this newspaper, and they got put out of business because they were
Yeah.
doing a story they
I
didn't.
was assuming it was a hit list, but that is a lot more likely.
But
Makes
the,
sense. I can't blame you, given your background.
the other name that's not on this list is Jean-Luc Boulier. Boulier.
Maybe that was
I
the
say
guy.
it perfectly.
Yeah, but Amelie was looking out for him. So
Well, she was looking for him.
yeah, so she may have found him. So which means he's not on the list.
Yeah, but I just think it's worth noting.
Yeah,
that.
I think he might be possibly a weak link. If these are the main antagonists of whatever they were investigating, and he's not on there, but he was being looked for, he might be someone we want to talk to.
Probably.
Maybe someone's got a hit out on him.
Maybe.
Oh, right, okay, good.
Well, no,
I mean, bad, but like...
We don't
yeah.
know.
Well, that guy ran from us, so I assume.
You said there was a note. Who was it addressed to?
It was Dearest Lumiere.
Dearest Lumiere.
That's not a name that's been on any of the lists, is it?
No. Right, so I've got there's a lockbox or lock drawer.
There was a lockbox in one of the drawers,
Yep.
which obviously you've pulled out and plonked on the desk, and a safe
Safe under
hidden
paper.
away under loads and loads of paper.
So there's that and the other.
As you guys have begun to talk, I've already picked up the smaller one and begun lockpicking it.
So I found that, and there's a safe under this paper. Hopefully, if they hadn't moved out completely, they might have some clues or something in there.
Give me a disabled device check for the lockbox, Sasha.
19.
19. Yeah. You open it up. In there is a single cigar. Looks like it's very good. There is some small change, maybe 10 gold tops.
Pocket it.
And there is some more, what looks like a few letters.
I hand the letters over to these guys.
I hand the letters over to Hamid.
Hamid reads the letters.
It's more discussions with Lumiere. Do you want to take the time to actually...
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I like the cigar.
Do you have a lighter?
Got an adventure kit.
Because spark.
Are you seeing me like pulling it up? To
I
my mouth?
love the image. Hamid's just searching through the papers, then you're just absent-mindedly just reaching out.
I will spark the cigar for you.
Yeah, I was looking in my bag of holding for the thing, and then noticed.
I go, wait! What? That's a clue! Or it's poisoned! Or a weapon or something!
I think it's just if it's got changed in there, it's just his
It
price
smells amazing.
cigar. I think
It's very, very fragrant. Even for
I
people
start
who
coughing.
Even for people who don't smoke, it's not rancid. You definitely begin coughing. It is smoke, but it's very floral, fragrant smell.
Could you put it out?
oh right, I'll stub it out on an ashtray.
Summon water.
I think we should keep it. I mean, it might be important.
It was really nice.
Hamid, reading through the paperwork, there's a lot of letters with this Lumiere, and it paints a very dark picture for whoever this gentleman was. You notice that it all seems too Lumiere from Lumiere,
Okay.
but nonetheless, within the actual paper, it starts off like going in chronological order. They start kind of like going, Amelie Rose has got something interesting. I'll finally put Gazette on the map. I've got some people on my back, blah, blah, blah. And then it's Amelie Rose is gone. I've put my other people on it, but...
Are there any dates on any of them?
So the date for Amelie Rose is about 6 months ago.
But we know she was at the Ark about 3 months ago looking for Jean-Luc Boulier. Intrigue!
Wheels within wheels.
So
I'm
she's...
just glad it's not the results of an epistolary novel that he's working on.
So it goes, Amelie Rose has dropped off the map. I'm putting some other people on it. And then it starts taking a bit of a bleaker turn. They haven't come back. Jacques has quit. And suddenly you start reading through it. Once you start piecing it together, it becomes readily apparent loads of them are quitting. And not just sort of, rats in a sinking ship kind of quitting. Like, spontaneously with no warning. And he's really confused. 2 days ago I was speaking with Rousseau, and he was completely fine. But suddenly, today, he's just quit. And the list goes on until eventually it's obviously the debts are mounting up and it's getting very, very bleak. And then he says the penultimate letter before the one he was writing was, I think it's what Amelie was working on. I think it's the Lord de Natter's.
Francois Henri messing with people's minds.
And then he closes with, I'm going to see what I can find. This might be my last letter. And that's the last one that's in the strongbox. The reason all of these letters are there is that on the reverse of them are the replies. It's an old thing that you used to do, save paper. The replies are quite banal. I've been working on the device. It's all couched, but it starts quite humorous. They clearly joke around a lot. I've been working on the device. It's coming along quite well. I really think this might put Gazette on the map. Oh, we've had a bit of a setback. One of the pieces is broken. I'm having some trouble sourcing enough platinum, blah, blah, blah. And slowly it just becomes very conciliatory, but there's not really much content to it. It's just, oh, I'm really sorry for you. You know that you can always come back with Mama and Papa if you need, blah, blah, blah. But there's not really any content, really, to the replies that he's had.
Sulking over the fact that her cigar has been taken away, Sasha's going to work on the safe. 8. Oh, wait, plus 9. So, 17.
17. I'll tell you next week.
Yay!
Goodness me. Drama. Death. Bertie running off.
Brutor running off.
Brutal. Everything's
They've
wrong.
eloped.
Everything's wrong.
Sasha being alive!
Yeah.
Plus marks.
It's great to hear your enthusiasm.
Oh.
I never thought it would be an old man in an alleyway that did you all in.
The most deadly of opponents.
I should be more careful. Anyway, I think we'll close there, like I said, and we hope you tune in next week for yet more intrigue, mystery, Parisian adventure. Bye all.
Bye!
Rusty Quill Gaming is a podcast distributed by rustyquill.com and licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial International License. Today's episode was recorded and produced by Alexander J. Newall. To comment on episodes, make donations, and view links, images, videos, and show notes, visit rustyquill.com. Rate and review us on iTunes. Visit us on Facebook. Tweet us on Twitter at @TheRustyQuill or email us at mail@rustyquill.com. Thanks for listening.
I mean, can you take a standard move to grieve?
Yeah.
Grieving's a full round.
Hold X to pay respects.
Yeah.
Just, Zolf is going to come around the corner and be like, oh my gosh, I don't know which bits are Sasha and which bits are Dog.
Yeesh.
I'm going to say expend 9 channel energies to just deal with this situation.
Damage from falling objects?
Yes, it will count.
He's a medium object.
He is a medium object.
3d6. It assumes the object is made of dense, heavy materials. And
Highly intensive materials.
This kind of situation would be so much easier when I can spontaneously sprout dragon wings.
yeah, that's true.
You stop. No. Fire.
On second thought.
Oh, what would Sir Bertrand MacGuffingham do?
That's a t-shirt right there.
Yeah.
It's just
WWBD
Yeah.
or SBMD.
No, SBMESQD.